Alright guys, so I'm going to ask you to start your practice just lying down on your back so we can get in touch with our breath, do a little breath work here. So as you come down to your mat, it doesn't matter how you want to place your legs. I want you to be comfortable. So if it's better for your back to keep your knees bent, then please feel free to do so. If you feel better just stretched out on your mat, go ahead and do that as well. Just find your comfortable spot. And we're going to do something we call constructive rest for these few moments where we're very present within the breath and the body and the mind, but we're also resting and kind of tuning inwards. Just start to notice how your breath is moving around your body. Where does the breath seem to be coming from? It's beginning. Is the breath shallow or is it already slow and lengthy? Just take some witness of all of these things. And we know the many, many, many benefits of yoga, and if we don't, we can just Google those later. But of the many benefits of yoga, some of us come to our practice for physical health, and some will come to their mats hoping for mental health, and some will come looking for spiritual wisdom and guidance, and certainly we can find all of that within our practice if we're open and keep a nice open heart to it. Let's bring our right hand onto the belly and just begin to feel the breath down in the belly. So we want to inhale into our right hand, expand the breath into the hand. And when you exhale, sighing out away all of the stale air, let the hand just fall back in towards the spine. And just follow this breath in and out of the belly for a few moments here, feeling the rise and the fall. Feeling the fullness of the breath, the prana, your life force. I'll ask that you just let your breath guide you all the way through this practice. More than me guiding you through the practice, let your breath be your guide. And then just bring your left hand onto the ribs. You can come right in between the rib cage here. Maybe the fingertips touch one side and the back of the palm touches another. And we're going to take that breath now and grow it up into the ribs and the lungs. So we start at the belly and we come to the second part of our breath right here in the mid-body. Breathing into the right hand first and then the left, and then a smooth exhale. See how your breath is just slowing down, and as it does, so does the mind. The mind follows and relaxes a bit more, and the body too. Look for fullness of breath. This is one time we want to get big bellies. And then placing the right hand now up to the heart center, the mid-chest. Begin to bring the breath up even further. Lengthier breath from the belly into the ribs and lungs, into the chest and the collarbones. And then a nice, smooth, long exhale. Do this a couple more times. Full breath in and out through the nose, although if you need a sighing out breath through the mouth, you can feel free to just open the mouth and let it all go. Release the hands, but continue the breath for a few more moments here as we consider why we practice yoga personally. Just think about what you would like to gain from this practice today. What's the gifts or the blessings you hope to walk away with? And then consider what is it you're willing to give to your practice. Could you give your open heart and mind? Could you give a willingness to modify when needed, not push too hard? Could you give presence and be with every breath in every moment, in every pose, in every asana? I'm going to ask you just to rock your knees into your chest and grab onto the knees or the shins and just begin to gently rock from side to side. Maybe circle the legs around. Make this movement organic and feel like you're just massaging the pieces of your body that are touching the mat by moving around the mat. This is all levels. We'll keep it a little gentler today than the flow classes. So really be mindful to nourish the body. Sometimes in yoga we activate a little bit of a workout. We hope to always activate a little bit of a work in. But today we'll take it easy. Be kind to ourselves and listen to what we need. Come back to center with the knees. Inhale, take the legs straight up into the air. Begin to just point and flex your feet, round the ankles. Take a moment to feel if you can notice your circulation just pulsating back the opposite direction as you lift the legs. So much standing and walking and hiking and biking and everything that keeps us so upright. It's nice to change that up a little bit. Just let the legs rest here in the air. And then we can hug the knees back to the chest and either roll onto your right or left side or rock your way up to seated. Then we'll come to Sukhasana, easy seated pose. I'm going to ask you to find a little bit of a seated position that feels like you could be there for a few moments. So sit upright, drop the shoulders down the back. You can place the hands face down or face up. We're going to close our eyes down and re-engage with this three-part breath through the belly, through the ribs and lungs, through the chest. And as you close your eyes and breathe, I want to kind of set the tone about our practice today from a reading from Dana Folds. And she says, yoga is not about the pose. It's not the alignment of toes or hips or shoulders. It's not about the form. Yoga is an invitation to explore, not a command performance. It speaks the language of the soul. In the flow of breath and motion, yoga coaxes us from the confines of the known across the silent threshold into vastness. Yoga is the union of prayer and movement, guided from inside. It is healing and the joy of saying yes to life. Breathe, relax, and feel the body receive its own truth. The seed of freedom flowers within each of us whenever we are open to what is real. Let's go ahead and just flutter those eyes open. Inhale, sweep the arms up over the head, create some space, open your heart and chest up towards the sky. Exhale, fingertips reach down to the floor, chin towards the chest. Good, let's keep moving like this. Inhaling, creating nice, beautiful space. You can take your gaze up. Exhale, lengthen those arms. Drop your head down, chin to chest. One more time, inhale, breath. A great full breath. And then exhale. We will hold here, tucking back the neck, chin towards the chest, and lengthening the back side of the neck. Keep the fingertips rooted down to the floor, or even the palms if they reach. Soften your shoulders and soften your jaw. Relax your eyes. And lift your head back in line with the spine. Drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Keeping the left fingertips down on the floor, let's take that right hand and just place it on the head. Heavy your right elbow down without pulling on the head, just adding some extra weight. Stretching out the left side of the neck and releasing any tension that we feel. Good, let's switch, drop the right hand down. Inhale, pick the head up in line with the spine, and then lower the left ear towards the left shoulder without letting the right shoulder come up. Softening that hand onto the head without the tug, just relaxing it there. Notice which side of the neck was a little bit tighter if one was more than the other. Just witness the body here. Where are we holding tension or stress? Could we let it go? Good, and then we'll release the left hand down, picking the head back up in line and just rolling the shoulders out a couple of times. Just allow the shoulders to soften up. And then take them the other way. Excellent. Go ahead and move on to your hands and knees now. We're going to take a tabletop position, bringing our wrists underneath our shoulders, and then watch those knees. When I say under the hips, sometimes they're still really close to the wrists. I ask you to go for the back edge of the hips. Make some space here between the knees and the wrists. Spread the fingertips wide on the mat, and just begin to feel some spaciousness in your shoulder blades. Don't collapse. Feel the belly tucking in, toning through the belly. And find your breath and just engage the breath here in stillness. Your drishti or your gaze is down to the earth. And as we begin a round of cat-cow, I want you to think of just zipping up the spine, starting from the base of the spine. On your next inhale, begin to lift those sit bones, reach the hips wide. Take a little arch in the back, draw your belly low, chest comes through, gaze comes up. And then starting again from the base of the spine, tuck the tail first, and one vertebra at a time, start to round all the way up, open the shoulders, drop the chin towards the chest. Good, let's find your breath with your movement, your pace. Inhaling, we come to the sway back cow pose. Exhaling, we come to a rounded, scared Halloween cat spine. Good, find a fluid movement here and begin to concentrate the breath and the movement together. Unity, union. Yoga means union. And so there's many things we can unite. And right here, it's the breath and the body. If you use Ujjayi breath where you can gently close the back of the throat off, let's go ahead and engage that sound quality of the breath. Wonderful. Then just move back to your flat back and begin to just, as though you have a tail and you're going to sway side to side, let the hips just kind of float from side to side. Just loosen up here. You can go as far as you'd like. This can be a small movement. You can widen the movement. Good. And then come back to your center. Set the hips back down towards the heels, the tops of the feet pressing down to the mat. Lengthen your arms and see about dropping the forehead all the way to the earth. If it doesn't reach, that's okay. And just begin to rock your forehead from side to side if it is touching the floor. And here in child's pose, find the breath in the back side of the body. Throughout the rest of the practice, anytime that you need a little rest, whether it be physically or emotionally or mentally, this is a nice place to just drop into, turn your gaze inward, and then you can rejoin the practice when you feel up to it. Good, we're going to inhale, come back to that tabletop, curl your 10 toes under and set your hips back down to the heels, lift your heart, shoulders will be over the hips here. Now if you tend towards foot cramps, you can come down onto flat feet as well. Stretching a beautiful stretch along the knees here. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. We're going to go for a bit of a side stretch as we drop the right hand to the floor, gazing down to where we place the hand, and then stretch that left arm away from the left hip. Find a few breaths, and then we're going to smooth our gaze all the way up. Nose goes towards ceiling. If that's too much, you don't need to take it there. Good. Make sure both sit bones are rooting down into those heels a bit. As you inhale, bring both hands up, and as you exhale, turn your gaze down to the left hand, coming down to the earth. Reaching up and over the right hand, stretches away from the right hip. Open up through your side body and breathe. Keep your heart shining forward. Turn that gaze towards the sky. Maybe open through the ribs a bit more. Nice work. And then inhale, we'll take both arms back up overhead. We'll exhale the hands down onto the mat and step the hands a little bit more forward so they're coming towards the top of the mat a bit. We want to spread those fingertips wide. We come to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lift your hips, spreading the feet a little bit wider if you like. And then go ahead and just send your heart back towards the legs. Make sure your knees and your elbows stay soft. Let your head just kind of dangle here. So if you find you're kind of taking your gaze forward, maybe you could just soften and relax the neck so that the gaze comes back between the legs. Now let's begin a small movement here, just bending into your right knee and pressing the left heel down, and then switching. So we're kind of walking this dog, lengthening our legs. Continue to roll the shoulder blades open a bit here so your inner elbows just kind of rotate with that shoulder opening. Gripping our mat ever so slightly with those fingers and that L shape between your pointer and thumb. Beautiful. Let's take just a couple more presses here. And then find your stillness. Release the left leg down to the mat. And then step your right foot through. So maybe it could reach in between the hands. We want the right knee and the right ankle to line up. And then squaring our hips up. Maybe you come up onto the fingertips, or if you had blocks, give yourself a little space here to stretch out long through your spine. Pulling your right hip back a little bit and the crown of the head forward. You can work your hands up onto your right thigh or into the air. Inhale, get a little taller. And let's make sure the shoulders are soft. Imagining we have this line cutting down the middle of the body here. We'll hug the right side body inward, the left side body inward, right to that midline, finding our balance and our strength. Bring your hands down to your heart center, and you're welcome to stay right here, drishti forward, maybe even closing the eyes if the balance is there. If you'd like to take it just a little bit further, we're going to twist our body to the right, so the torso turns to the right. Good. We can stay right here, or we can begin a small hinge forward, placing the back of the left arm onto that right thigh, and then engaging the right elbow skyward as we press into each hand. Rooting the back foot down, rooting the front foot down, and breathing. Feel free to take your gaze up. Nice work. As you inhale, rise up and stay in the twist and stretch those arms out nice and long. So we've got right arm reaching back, left arm reaching forward with an option to sweep that twist into a little bit of a back bend. Your fingers may touch your heels, they may not. You could even come up onto the toes so that they will. And then come back. Good, we'll unwind, hands to the heart center once again. Nice job. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, take the hands down to the earth. Pick your left knee off of the mat and step that right foot back to down dog. Take some breath here. Navel engages towards spine, sit bones and hips lift, heels drop. Beautiful. This is a nice inversion pose that's simple for us to maybe get into in an all levels class versus standing on our head. So I love down dog. Good. Let's go ahead and drop that right knee down. Send the left foot through and line the left ankle and knee. Good. Find that length through the spine as you square your hips. So you might consider your hip bones like headlights and they're both facing forward equally. And then inhale, choose hands in the air, or hands to your thigh as you find your balance. If you're feeling a little wobbly today, maybe just heel toe that left foot a little wider and get a bigger base of support. Check in with yourself, witness the body here. Where are you holding on? Could you relax your jaw? Soften your gaze. Hands will come to the heart center, and we're welcome to stay here. You can take a twist over to the left and stay here. This is beautiful. Or maybe hinge forward, gently pressing the back of the right arm into the left thigh. You can play with your gaze, your drishti here, looking to the floor, looking to the side, or looking up over that left elbow, your choice. Let your breath inform the next place that you go. Good. Let's inhale, lift, but stay in that wound up situation where we're facing to the left, and then open the arms. Stretching the right arm forward, the left arm back, plugging the shoulders into the socket, maybe curling those back toes under if we're going to reach back for that heel, and then just hinging into a bit of a back bend as you lift your heart. And let that left hand find the heel. Excellent. Pull it back up into your twist. Hands come around to the heart center as we square back forward. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, sink those hands down to the mat. Pick up the right knee, send the left foot back, down dog. Big breath here, all the way through the belly, through the ribs, through the chest. Excellent job. We're going to take as many steps as we need to get towards the top of the mat into a forward fold Uttanasana. So as you come forward, root the feet down. If your hands no longer touch the floor, that's perfectly fine. You can just bring them up onto your shins or wherever they can touch. You can bend the knees as much as you need, or you can straighten the legs but leave a little micro bend. The sit bones lift, the hips lift, and the top of the head just drops down like there's a magnet on your head, pulling your head gently to the earth. This is a good place for a falling out breath. Breathe in through the nose and sigh slowly out through the mouth, letting go of any tension, any stress, any worry. How does that serve us? Not at all. Good, let's take an inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and up, get long with your spine. Watch those hands come together at the top, and then exhale, hands to the heart, elbows pressing down, crown of the head lifting high. Very nice. Inhale to take the arms all the way back overhead, and exhale into forward fold, swan dive. Now we inhale to a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, coming to a flat back with our shoulders back away from the ears and the belly toned. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat, deep fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana as we lift the arms back up overhead, and then exhale the chair pose, Utkatasana. Sitting down and back, tucking the tailbone and pulling the belly in. Just like we're sitting in a chair. Now your depth of your chair pose, you can take a little or a deep chair. Just make sure the weight's back in those heels and your heart is lifted. Beautiful. Take those hands back down as you fold. And then touch the hands to the mat even if you need to bend the knees, and step back to a plank pose, top of a push-up. We'll go through a modified vinyasa here, lower the knees to the mat. Send your elbows straight back. Let the arms just kind of brush the ribs here as you lower all the way to your mat. As you come down, maybe pick the legs up one at a time and sweep them back so you're nice and long. The hands will be by the chest and the elbows will be pressing down and back. On the next inhale breath, start to rise the head up without looking forward, still looking to the floor. Start to rise your chest and then tuck the throat back, then that brings the gaze up. Good, we're in baby cobra, bhujangasana. Just breathe. Good, exhale and lower the head back to the mat. Take a few breaths here. We're gonna go for a little bit bigger cobra pose. Inhale, start to lift the head, lift the shoulders, draw the throat back. Now press into the hands a little bit, keep the shoulders down the back and lift up. So even though there's a back bend quality here, we're lengthening the spine. And exhale, lower slowly back to the mat. Excellent. Now we're going to take those fingertips out just a little bit diagonally. They can even come off the mat. And I'd like you to use just the fingers, so like little tents here of the hands. Then we'll inhale just like we would for cobra, lifting head and chest, pressing into the hands and straighten out those arms. And then exhale, bend the elbows lower. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen the arms, press into the fingertips. Good to strengthen even the fingers. Exhale to lower. Make sure those feet are staying rooted on the mat. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's release the low back. Stack your forearms one on top of the other and place your head down onto the arms. Bend the knees, send the feet towards the sky, and then just slowly rock the feet from side to side as you massage your quads and release tension out of the low back. Fantastic. Just take a couple more here. And then you can come back to center and drop those feet all the way back down to the mat. Lovely job. Take your hands back underneath the shoulders. Curl 10 toes under. Use your knees or no knees. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. Lifting those hips skyward and pressing back with our heart. Let's combine a little bit of movement here. We've done the down dog, we've done the plank, and we've done cobra. So here we are in down dog. We're gonna sweep our weight forward from down dog into a plank. I'm just gonna begin to lower those legs down, bend the elbows, and bring myself down to the earth into a cobra with my heart lifted. Good, turn 10 toes under and press back, down dog. We'll do that 1 more time. Just sweep the weight forward. Keep going, sliding those legs down to the mat, and then reaching your shoulders back, keeping the head a little lifted, and return, downward facing dog. Good, you can stay in down dog, just breathe. You can take a break if you'd like in child's pose, or join me in three-legged dog, bringing the left foot slightly to the center of the mat. Inhale the right leg up into the air. Now we keep pressing the heart back. We rotate the right thigh inward so that our toes don't go to face out, they stay facing the floor. Breathing here. Press down through the left heel, just lengthen out. Keep the core engaged. Lovely work. Go ahead, release the right foot and switch it out. Bring the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. So here the hips and the shoulders square. Lower the right heel. Nice. Lower the left foot to meet the right. Step forward. Forward fold. Engage this fold just a bit deeper if you can. And inhale, sweep those arms to the sides and up overhead. Exhale, hands down to your sides for standing mountain pose, Tadasana. Beautiful. We're going to work on some balance today. At home, you are welcome to find a wall or a chair if that helps you with your balance work. I'm going to turn to face you. So we'll start balancing on our left leg, and we're going to take this step by step, which means if you get to a place where you're not comfortable going to the next step, then just stay where you're at or back off to one of the previous steps. As we step onto our left foot, let's engage the muscles of the left leg onto the bones. We start to already feel this strengthening. And then maybe lift the thigh muscles up towards your glute. The glute muscles press down towards the thigh. So we have this strong engagement and kind of a clamping motion going on. Engage the core and begin to draw that right leg up. Now if you can come to a 90-degree lift here, straight out of the hip with the knee and straight down with the ankle, awesome. If not, go wherever you can. Now let's take an inhale breath and see if we can move the arms up and hold this balance. Check in with how you're feeling. Hug your hips in. Stay tall. Good. All levels. Make it your own and don't feel bad no matter what happens. Just smile. It's just a journey, and what we do on our journey is we learn from our journey. All right, so here we go. We're going to push that right foot back as we straighten the leg, hinge from your hips, and pull the fingertips forward into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Now maybe we want to drop those back right toes down. That would be okay. Maybe we don't want to come as far as what I have. That would be okay. Good. It's okay if you're falling all over. Just rejoin when you can. Inhale and come back to where you started. So without touching down if you can, although touchdowns are allowed, go ahead and lift that right leg into the air. Nice job. Kick the right leg out in front of you and flex that foot. Good. Bend the knee, come back where you were, and we'll do the whole thing one more time. That breath might be getting a little shallow as we work these muscles, so maybe take that as an indication if we need to back off. Good. Inhale, see if you can return as gracefully as possible. Maybe it's not graceful. That's okay. And then have a little laugh at yourself if you're falling over. Push that leg out. Nice job. Let's return to standing mountain pose. Collect ourselves for a moment. I like to tell my students that balance is where we learn how to have a sense of humor. All right, so we're going to go ahead and step onto that right foot. Now, I'm going to tell you, because I like to be really honest with my students all the time, even across camera, that one side of your balance is better than the other, and almost every day, this is my bad side, and sometimes, even as an instructor, I'll fall over. So, if you just are tired and you want to watch that, you feel free. We're going to try and stand on that right leg, pull everything in, and flex the left foot. Good. Left knee straight out from the hip if we can, but anywhere along this journey is just fine. Let's see if we can inhale the arms up. Now, a little trick here is pull up on your standing arch. This is going to strengthen your arch. And your right ankle may be a little wobbly. It's strengthening too. Good. Let's see if we can find that Warrior 3. Hug the core in. Press that foot back. Now, maybe we only get here. That's just fine. We don't have to come all the way into the fullness of the pose. Remember that poem in the beginning. It's not about nailing a pose. It's just the journey that matters. Good. Breathe. We're coming back where we started from. Ooh. Yeah, nice job. And then stretch that leg out. Good. Let's do it one more time. Find the bent leg where we started. Reach out through the left heel, forward through the fingertips. Now you want those hips nice and steady, not one lifting and opening. And then we come back. Oh, there's that touchdown, all good. And then stretch it out if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Good, return to standing mountain pose. Give those ankles a little circle around, because that's a very strengthening pose for the ankles, so they might get the muscles a little tired. And let's just begin a few hip circles each direction, about 3 each way. Doesn't matter which way you start. Nice job, guys. Fantastic. Let's come back to our center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Palms will come together at the heart, and our gaze will come closed if we can. If it's too much to close the gaze, maybe half close. So after balance, it's nice to come to Samsarihi and just see if we can find some equanimity now. Right to left, top to bottom. Press your feet equally into the earth. Even out those hips, those shoulders, the press of the fingertips, and the lift of the head. Come back to your intention. As we open the eyes, we'll inhale the arms back up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise halfway. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Step your right foot back as though you're coming into a lunge, but now we'll drop the right heel to the left, opening up our right hip. I'd like you to look for your front heel to line up with your back arch. The back foot parallels the short back edge of the mat. Send your left knee over your left ankle and slightly open towards the pinky toe. Now, inhale and sweep your right arm back and your left arm forward. We want to bring those hips and shoulders in nice alignment for Virabhadrasana 2 as you turn your gaze over your front fingertips. If you need more space, just spread the feet. If you need less space, work one in. So kind of come into your pose where you can be for a few breaths. One hand is back, one hand is forward. You might hear that as one being in the past, one being in the present, and look where we are settled right here in this moment in the center. Whatever the past has brought you, you have been an overcomer and you're still here. You are a warrior. You're still standing. So proud of you. Good. Now, we're going to have a little fun here. Sweep the arms low. Turn the toes both to face the right edge of the mat. Sweep the arms high. Turn the back foot, the right foot to the back edge, and come to warrior 2 this side. So now we're on the other side and we're gazing forward, but we've still got those hips and shoulders squared. Now look into our present for a moment. We just took a peek back at our strength and our past. Whatever the future holds, the unknown, we can draw on this knowing that we have everything we need already within us, every answer, every amount of strength for our journey. And although it is our individual journey, we are all united together on the same team, guys. Here to assist and love each other through it. Nice job. We're going to switch it out one more time. Hands come low. Switch those legs. Coming back to warrior 2. We won't hold quite as long. Good. Just breathe into the present moment now. And what gifts is this warrior strength giving you at this moment? Last time, switch it out. Good job. We're going to switch direction we're going. Sometimes change can be hard. Bring the hands down the other, what was the back edge of the mat. Good. Flip those left toes around, send the right foot back, and find a down dog, the opposite direction of where you started your down dogs. Very nice. Just take a few breaths here. And then we begin to walk the hands back towards the feet, so towards the top of the mat, and we'll wind up in that forward fold, still at the top of the mat, but facing the opposite direction, and just release deeply into the fold. Witness how you feel about changing your direction on the mat. Does it not bother you at all? Does it really shake you up? Ask the questions why. What brought you to the place to be comfortable with change, or what brought you to the place to be uncomfortable with change? No right or wrong, just witness. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, standing mountain pose. I know you need to get back to facing the screen, so just spin it around, and you're back where you began. Nice job. Take a nice big inhale breath. Reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Good. We're going to come down and get a little stretchy now. Go ahead, place the hands to the mat. Work your way back towards tabletop. Knees come down. And then we'll stretch the right leg forward as we did before. This time we want to take our hips back into a half split. So we bring those hips equally back and start to lift the right toes. Now what I want to see here is if we can, instead of trying to sink down real far, Really just kind of try to pull this hip squaring back and then reach the crown of the head forward. Like there was something here I want my head to touch at the top of the mat. Now I might get that big tug and pull I'm looking for. Keep the belly engaged, stay with your breath. I love this half split. If we can go a little lower, you can. Just try to keep your spine long so we're not looking for any turtle shells here. You're even welcome to take it one step further and take a little twist here, walking the hands both over to the right. Oh, yes. Good. Pull those hands back to the center and bend the right knee over the right ankle. Sweep that right foot back and let's switch it out for the left. Good. Just looking for Ardha Hanumanasana here. Send the hips back, lift the left toes, stretch the crown of the head forward and breathe. Now if you find this stretch to be a little too much, if it's at all painful, if it's not anything more than just kind of achy, back off a little bit. If you want to play with balance, you can bring your hands onto the foot. Maybe dive deeper. Maybe walk the hands over and take a little stretch, keeping the left hip pulling back a little. Fantastic. Work the hands back to the center and come back to that tabletop position. Good. We're going to stretch the body in tabletop balance. The right leg will stretch back, and you can feel free to keep the toes on the floor or facing the floor with the leg lifted. Stretch the left arm forward or keep the fingertips on the floor, but reach them forward. Now you can stay right here. We're just looking for some steadiness. We don't want to be collapsing anywhere. Or if you'd like, open the right leg to the right, the left leg or left arm to the left. A little bit of diagonal stretch. Keep that core engaged. Stay strong in your right shoulder. Good. Bring it back to center. Bend that right leg. Send the toes up. Reach back. See if you can find the toes. If you can't get a hold, no worries. If you do, press the foot into the hand. Good. Gently release. Coming back to the balance and then back to the table. Good. Woo. Let's try the other side. Stretch the left foot back. Right hand forward. And again, your practice. Make it what you want it to be. If you'd like, open it up. Diagonal stretch. Right arm opens to the right, left leg to the left. Come back to center. Bend the knee. Good. We can stay right here. This is beautiful. We can open the arm but not get a hold of the foot. Also fine. Or begin to find that foot to hand. And just stretch and pull back. Open through the shoulder. Lovely. And we'll return back to our stretch and then back to our tabletop. Great work, you guys. We're going to come to walk the legs forward. Cross the ankles. If this way doesn't work for seated, just come down any way you want. Good. We're going to work those feet to the floor with our knees bent, making sure we have some mat behind us. And because it's all levels, we're not going to kick it up too much today. We're going to keep it gentle here for Navasana boat pose, keeping our feet on the floor. Now you can keep your hands behind the thighs for support, chest on the front, shoulders on the back as you lean back, or maybe challenge the arms out, even pick up the toes. Okay? Some of us might choose to draw those heels off the mat if you're feeling really adventurous today, but we're going to do some things that you might want to keep it simple. Good. So now we're going to work with the breath here. Shoulders on the back, chest on the front, belly in. Inhale, breath, rise an inch or two. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Find your range of motion. It might be bigger than mine. It might be smaller. It might be that you don't have a range of motion and you just hold still. Couple more. Can you hold back, but don't hold the breath? Keep breathing. And bring your hands to your heart. Good. Keeping our breath smooth and easy. Begin to rotate the body to the right. Come back to center and rotate the body to the left. Back to center. Good. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep moving. Inhale. We're almost there. Let's do one more each side. And then we're going to get a nice stretch in that low back. Beautiful. Come all the way through center. Lift up. Hug the knees closer to you. Keep the toes lifted. Hands around the feet and just drop the crown of the head towards the floor here or the forehead towards the knees, however you want to look at it. Fantastic. All right. So we're going to stretch the left leg out and then draw the right heel in towards the groin a bit here. Square the hips and begin to sit up nice and tall. Good. So for Janusirasana, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and then exhale and hinge over the left leg. I want you to hinge until you feel your back start to round. There'll be some natural organic rounding, that's okay, but if you're really collapsing, back off a little bit. Bring your hands down onto the legs or onto the floor, and just begin to stretch long over that left leg. Now press your sit bones down and just see where you feel this. Some of us it'll be the legs, some of us it'll be the nice stretch in that low back. Good. I don't know, I love the stretchy part of the practice. So yummy. Good, let's inhale, reach back up and switch it out. Sending that right leg out, the left heel in, kind of like the shape of a figure four. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, hinge forward. Breathe. Good. Now, if you are very flexible here and you're coming low, such as I am, I want you to think about belly down, then ribs, then chest, and then maybe someday nose, but we're not focused on nose first. We really want to get that flattening out here. Brilliant. Let's go ahead and inhale. Come back up. And now stretch both legs out into a V shape. And don't worry about how far you can open up. Everybody is different, and everybody is different. Good. So here we are. We're going to take those tent stake fingers like we had before and just walk our tents forward, lengthening the spine. Now I want you to witness that the toes stay lifted, the knees stay lifted. There's no rotation here. The hinging is coming out of the hips. And then the idea is to bring this whole torso in one long spine down towards the earth as close as we can until it feels like, if I go any further, I'm not going to like it anymore. And we're going to call that our edge. So we'll just find our edge and then hang out. Don't topple over the edge. Just find your breath. And when you feel a little ease coming, see if you can press those toes higher, press out through your heels, push the legs down into the mat. Fantastic. We're going to walk the fingertips back towards us. Inhale, lift the heart up. And bring the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. Now, one thing we can do in Baddha Konasana is kind of drag the heels towards the groin. I find a little bit more intensity if I drag my groin towards the heels. So you can try both ways and see what you prefer. In either case, I'd like the knees to be fairly relaxed here and at hip height or lower if possible. Sometimes they get all crowded up, and in that case, I would just give myself more space. All right, nice job. Let's go ahead and take a nice big breath. And then exhale and fold. Beautiful. So again, long spine. Breathe into those hips, release any tension, let it go. Now, the hip tension that we hold can be very hard sometimes to release. So focus in on your breath and use some mantra here, like I release, I allow, I let go. I release, I allow, I let go. Just a couple more breaths. Fantastic. And we'll inhale and lift the heart back up. Draw the knees back together. And we're going to come to lie down on our mats now for the rest of the practice. So bring yourself down. Just rolling our way down, tucking knees back into the chest and taking a little rock around like we did in the beginning. As you rock, kind of rock your hips forward away from those shoulder blades. Get a long spine. Nice work. We're coming to spinal twist. So we're going to bring the feet down to the mat and cross your left thigh over the right. Good. Draw the arms out nice and long and see if you can drop those legs over to the left. Now the weight of that left leg on the right is going to give us a bit more stretch. If it's too much, unwind the legs. Relax your right shoulder down to the earth and just take your gaze over to the right. We're starting to slow the breath, slow the mind. And we start to even take a little bit of witness into the differences that are happening within the practice in our body, our mind, and our spirit. Begin to engage your core, gently draw those knees back up. Keep the legs in this position and then draw the knees in towards the chest. Reach your hands down to the right and left foot and then squeeze everything in. So the knees are squeezing towards each other into the chest and the feet are squeezing down to the outer hips. Right hand to left foot, left hand to right foot. Excellent job. Go ahead and unwind those legs, lift them up into the air. Switch which leg you have on top. Drop those feet back down. Make sure the spine's long again. Open the arms back up. And now with right thigh over left, drop the knees to the right, look to the left. In this spinal twist, think about lengthening your side body. And breathing up and down the spine, welcoming this beautiful stretch. Good. Slowly inhale the knees back to the center. Spine is long and drag those legs in for shoelace. Grabbing the opposite feet or ankles. Hugging in nice and tight. And then slowly unwind, lift the legs, side by side legs once again, just like at the beginning, and point and flex the feet. Fabulous work. Let's go ahead and just hang out here for just another couple breaths. Bend the knees. Soles of the feet back to the mat. And we're coming to our Shavasana. You're welcome to just draw those feet out to the long edge of the mat and then drop the knees in together. Or open the body completely up on the floor and just relax. Let the ankles fall open, the fingertips curl in. Go ahead and come into your stillness. And feel the support of the earth beneath you. Scan the body and relax any areas left that are holding on. The eyes are gently closed, so you're not squinting, and the jaw is relaxed, so you're not clenching. And the muscles begin to feel as though they're just falling off of the bone as they relax so deeply. Let your prana, your breath, move through you naturally, nourishing your entire being. And draw away from the outer senses. Many, many layers to who we are, all intertwined. But deep beneath all the layers in the center is that shining commonality, the unchanging, ever-present light. By connecting to ourselves, we connect to all humanity, all sentient beings. No, yoga's not about the pose. It's about this quiet moment. It's the journey to oneself. We asked the question in the beginning, what did we hope to gain from our practice and what were we willing to give? I would ask you, were there any surprises? Did you get something you didn't expect? And gently begin to just wiggle those fingers and toes again. Find some longer breaths, fuller breaths. And slowly drawing the knees in towards the chest. Begin to rock side to side and see if you can just feel if one side calls you one way or the other. And if it does, go ahead and rock onto that particular side. If it doesn't, I'll suggest the right side. We're in the fetal position. Just breathe a couple breaths. And if you'll join me again in Sukhasana, easy seated pose to end our practice. This practice of yoga is not built on rigid self-discipline, pushing and pushing ourselves through it and prodding ourselves back to the mat. Rather, it's built on a curiosity and a desire to know oneself better, to be healed, and to know our inner wisdom. If you could sit well, and just give me one more moment of your time to share with you the soul of yoga. Close your eyes down. What is the soul of yoga? Follow your heart into the center of the pose and find in the midst of detail and precision, in breath, alignment, balance, bliss, fear, and sadness, At the very core of all of this is love. Touch upon your truest nature even once, and the experience of what you really are sears the psyche like the surface of the sun. The soul of yoga, the gift within the pose, is the moment of communion, resting in pure essence, the awakening as if from sleep to the face of unmistakable divinity, the ineffable wonder and living reality of spirit. Oh yes, the soul of yoga is love. Hands together at heart center, yogis. The light in me honors, loves, and salutes the light within you. Namaste.